Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
I assume Tom.
What most people don't realize is that this man's name translates from Arabic to generous, and he is more than generous in sharing the screen time in the 7th season of All-American. Kareem Grimes, how are you today?
RC, I'm good, my brother. How you doing today?
I am great. Listen, we get to talk about season 7. We get to talk about Preach. We get to talk about S.W.A.T. We get to talk about all sorts of things that's going on with you.
Absolutely.
You know, congratulations. 45 plus episodes, season 7, CW, still killing it, midweek. What's it feel like to be a part of a show that's gone 7 seasons? Because, there's only a handful. Supernatural went 7 seasons. Mm-hmm. Smallville was a crossover from WB into CW that went 10 seasons. Arrow went 6. So you guys beat the DC TV universe. The entire Arrowverse. Man. So.
Yeah, it's a blessing, man. I think, as any artist or any actor out there knows, just to be a part of a show with a run like that, man, is like you said before. It doesn't happen quite often. There's a handful, and I think I speak on behalf of myself and the cast, and we know that, and I think that's why we show up to work each and every day, and we do our job, man, just to make sure that we bring entertainment to our fans every Monday. And I'm just grateful, man. I always sit in gratitude, and I don't take it for granted, and I am truly blessed.
Did you play any sports growing up yourself? Did you play football or baseball or anything?
Yeah, I played football, baseball, basketball. So football, I was a running back. Baseball, I was a pitcher, first base, shortstop, third, and left field. And in basketball, of course, point guard.
How does that, the athletic background play into it? Because there's the crossover between the dedication to playing the sport and then the dedication to developing your craft as an actor. Yeah. And here you get to do both in using athletic skills as well as acting skills and merging the two.
Yeah, I think it started early on for me when I played, Pop Warner football, and it was discipline. It was discipline. It was being a team player, and dedication to the sport. Which bled over to once I got the bug for acting. I knew the time that I had to put in. The dedication and the discipline to be able to work on my craft and be the best that I can be. So, it started at a young age, and it has stuck with me since. And, I use it every day in my life, man, just to, as Malcolm Gladwell said in the tipping point, you got to put your 10,000 hours in. So I feel like I've been doing that since.
Well, thank John Singleton for that, man. And it wasn't just a mall discovery.
Absolutely, man. Big shout out to John Singleton. RIP, man. He played a big factor, man, and kind of really putting that spark and giving me a start. There were other young kids that he could have given lines to, and John Singleton saw something in me. And, from that point on, man, we just never looked back. And John Singleton really became a mentor and a big brother to me. I just remember, I think probably one of our last conversations, he saw me in The Mule with Clint Eastwood, and he called me, and he was just super excited just to see my journey and me sticking with it. And, he was just happy for me. So, that's something that, I'll never forget, that I hold near and dear to me. So absolutely.
When you go from being discovered by John as a kid, you're working with Ice Cube, you're working with Cuba, you're working, you're working with Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne, Morris Chestnut, all of them, yeah.
It's like John was his own, him and Spike Lee did their own things, and they're one was East Coast, one was West Coast, and we're, you didn't want to open the door for us, we're gonna build our own house.
Absolutely.
Deal. Everyone talks about Tyler Perry doing it, but Spike and John did it before he did.
Yeah.
And Tyler just took it to the next level, but they laid the foundation for him. Mm-hmm. And now to go from that, and then Clint Eastwood, living legend on top of it, who's still 94 and directing, there's got to be you're sitting there, I'm doing something right.
Right, exactly, man. It's I think as an artist, and I think for me it was just like just making sure I do good work. And I didn't, I would have never thought in a million years that I would be working alongside the Clint Eastwood. My grandmother would watch all his films, and and here I am getting the opportunity, to be able to work with Clint Eastwood, and I'll never forget it. Like I auditioned for it, and maybe like a week, two later, I end up, and at this point, I was working on SWAT, and found out that I got the role, and I guess somebody found out, the people on SWAT found out, and they were congratulating me and was just like, hey, Clint only does one take, so you got to be ready. And I was just like, absolutely, I'm gonna be ready, man. I always use the analogy of, if you ever got a chance to play with Michael Jordan, if you get an opportunity to get in a pickup game and he picks you, you're going to make sure that you show up and show out and bring your A game. And that's the same mentality that I had, working with Clint Eastwood and any other, big rising star or any big star that I've, worked with. I just always try to bring my A game. So, I'm memorable.
We've had some tragedies recently in LA
Mm.
with the fires, also in Altadena. You work with a charity, My Friend's House Foundation. Take us
Yes.
into working with the foundation, because providing, food and clothing and job opportunities here in LA, and
Yeah.
especially that's needed after the fires. Like, how did it come about you working with the charity, and what's going on right now with them?
Yeah, I've been with My Friend's House for about 15 years. A big shout out to Tiffany Rose, who started it. For me, it's always been instilled to give back. And as I gotten older, I was just like, I need an outlet to be able to give back. And Tiffany Rose was like, hey, we feed the less fortunate downtown, every Wednesday. And I was like, say less. I'll be down there. Went down there, literally took clothes that I didn't wear, shoes. I had like two big trash bags, went downtown, and literally we feed between 5th and 6th on San Pedro. So we're literally right in the heart of downtown. And I literally saw people lined up and take the clothes and the shoes that I provided and actually put it on and wear it. And we're grateful and thankful, and it just did something to my spirit that I was just like, yeah, this is where I need to be every Wednesday. So rain, heat, whatever it is, I made it my point to be able to give back to those less fortunate every Wednesday. And I've been doing it ever since. And I've put it on social media and got friends who, were looking for outlets, and they're still doing it. They're bringing their kids, they're bringing their family and friends, and we fed well over 10,000 miles and clothed well over 10,000 people, and we're still doing it today. So, it's just something that's near and dear to me, that, I always make time to, show up on Wednesdays and give back.
Well, God bless you for that, man. Especially,
Thank you.
we're getting ready for Easter, and then
Yeah,
everything that's been going on
yeah,
with the fires, and the floods are coming because
yeah.
more rain. So, like, nothing's gonna get easy for a little while.
Yeah, and I think that's Angelinos, we're built different. We definitely push through it. And I think we've all come as a collective and gathered and made sure that we give back to those less fortunate. I had a lot of friends and family who lived in the Altadena area, and which the guy who cuts our hair on the show, DL, he had a barbershop in Altadena for over 10, 20 years. And, he lost it. And when he put out the call, I showed up, and, as best I could, I just made sandwiches, chips, drinks. And, we went out there and gave back. And, from that point on, once I went live and people were seeing that, all my people, family and friends and fans were like, yo, where's, I was kind of like boots on the ground. They were like, yo, is there anywhere I can be able to donate and things of that nature? So, I just try to use my social media platform and, who I am to really just make an impact wherever I can. For me, I always just say, I'm just trying to make my mark in the world.
Well, you're making your mark, man. I mean, 6 seasons out of 7 with
Yeah.
All American.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You came in second season, like it
First
wasn't
season.
first season.
First
Okay,
season,
excuse me.
the last 2 episodes of season 1. Yes.
Okay, so the final 2 episodes of season 1,
Yeah.
13 episodes per season. What's it like coming in at episode 12 when like the cast has already kind of been established and got their groove together, and you're the
Yeah.
new kid on the block?
Yeah, I think for me it was just an opportunity to work, and just to give you a little backstory, in Keche Okoro, who is the showrunner, I met her 10 years prior. I did her first script for TV, which was Bones. And also there's another writer on there, Jamie Turner. I met him 11 years prior, where I did The Shield. I auditioned for The Shield 17 times. And on the 17th time, I ended up doing 3 seasons. So that's how I was able to get a relationship with, Jamie Turner. And here I am coming in as an actor. You're just grateful for the work, and, you come prepared, and you show up and show out. And just being there, already watching the show, already had a connection with the show, because mine was the opposite. I went to a predominantly white school. I went to Palisades and then transferred to Dorsey High School to play football. So I already connected with the show, and, just having the opportunity. And big shout out to Leah Daniels Butler for casting me, and just showing up on set, ready to work, ready, getting in the character, and, just doing the work, man. And I think, when you do the work speaks for itself, and they like something. And of course, NK called me and was like, hey, listen, you get shot in the last episode, but we plan on keeping you around for a while. And here we are, 6 seasons, going into our 7th, a full character 360, like we've never seen before on television. And, like I said earlier, man, I just sit in so much gratitude, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to do what I love.
Right. Now let's take it like from when Preach shows up. He's a gang member. Like he doesn't have the cleanest life in the record, and he comes into changing his life and becoming a teacher. Like when you see the evolution of the character, and your performance obviously has to evolve with him. How does Kareem Grimes change along with Preach? Because you have to bring yourself into the role. It's not just like I put on the sheet, or this costume or whatever, and it's done. I go home and it's over, because the performance is so powerful that there has to be Kareem in there.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think, born and raised in Inglewood, California, and being around LA culture, I grew up with a bunch of preachers. There were preachers that looked out after me to keep me from the pitfalls of gangbanging in Los Angeles. And I grew up in a time where it was at its height, so, being a kid and a young man, just observing and taking bits of pieces from, what we call them OGs, and just kind of putting them in my back pocket, and being able to, as an actor, be able to pull out my bag and use that. So, for me, it was very easy to be able to get into that character, but also too, knowing those guys who, made a bad decision, got a second chance at life, turned their life around, and became productive citizens. So, once again, watching that, observing that, seeing them go through that process, seeing them shed, that street, and saying, hey, I have a second chance. This is something that I'm going to get right. Given the opportunity, I'm going to make the best of it. And I remember NK came to me and told me, like, hey, your storyline is going to change. There was a young man, I want to say either out of Ohio, who went to prison and studied, got his degree, got out and became a teacher, and became Teacher of the Year. So they literally taken a real life storyline of this person and implemented and, merged this with my character Preach. So once I knew that, it was just, like I said, knowing those guys, and then just doing the research and just being prepared as much as I could for this journey and this character arc that was about to take place. And, like I said, there's a little bit of me in Preach, with the wisdom and seeing people who may be on a path that I have taken, to say, hey, listen, I've done this. You may want to go this route. These are the consequences if you go here and you go there. And just kind of, just being that voice of reason, and, being the person there for definitely the new cast that is there, and just kind of taking them under my wings and, guiding them through what's to come, on this show and what to prepare for. So just preparing and being observant and, taking life experiences and just putting them into this character to keep it grounded and to keep it real.
I do have to ask this. This is just a personal question for me.
Yeah.
You grew up in Inglewood.
Yes, sir.
The Lakers were down the street at the Forum, and the Clippers were in downtown LA.
Yes, sir. They were playing at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And here we are. We flipped it. Now the Lakers are in downtown LA, and the Clippers are in Inglewood.
Isn't that crazy?
How do you find the loyalty? Is it to the city or to the team at this point? Because, it's flipped.
Yeah, I think it's always, when you come into Inglewood, it's Inglewood, the city of champs. Mm-hmm. And we know the Lakers are champions, so, but I'm an LA kid through and through. So, I definitely have love for the Clippers. They're kind of like our little brothers. But, like you said, I literally grew up right around the corner from the Forum. And, I just remember my parents taking me over there to walk around the Forum, to go to the games. But yeah, I'm loyal to the soil. So it's definitely Lakers are number one, and the Clippers are number two. They're our little brother, and I love them both.
What's one piece of advice you want to give to young actors? Because you came up when you were young, and you had your family make sure that you were taken care of. John looked after you. It didn't end up like certain shenanigans that we've seen. And I got to keep the language clean because you mentioned something, you get cut.
Yeah.
What would you tell the younger kids coming up and how to protect themselves? Because, you had help being protected as well.
Yeah, man. I think a lot of it is just my faith, man. Having a praying mother, a family, and knowing which, where my blessings come from. Number one, having that foundation. Number two is really patience and enjoying the process of it all. I think sometimes right now we get caught up with social media, and everybody is seeing somebody on social media living this glorious life. And they're like, well, I want that, not knowing what they're going through to get there. Right. So I think everybody has their own journey. And I think, if you focus on your journey and your journey only and the process that it takes, you're going to be able to appreciate it more, and you're going to respect it more. So, definitely patience. I always tell actors, do the work, study. This is a craft. Just because you have a cell phone doesn't make you an actor or a journalist or whatever. There is a discipline that goes along with whatever you get into. I don't care what it is. There is a discipline. So you must learn that discipline. You must put in those hours. You must learn the craft of it. So I always tell them to just, learn the craft, learn as much as you can. If you're in this business, learn everything that goes along in this business. And, be patient, and, your time is going to come.
Kareem, man, it's been great pleasure chatting with you about all-American life, catching up, everything here in LA and Southern California. Where can we find you on social media if we want to connect with you? And then where can we find My Friend's House Foundation?
Yes, you can connect with me on all social media platforms. Kareem Grimes. I do respond back to people when I have time. And then My Friend's House, LA.org. That's My Friend's House, LA.org. You can go online. We also have a brick and mortar. But every Wednesday we feed the less fortunate between 5th and 6th on San Pedro at 12 o'clock from 12 to 2. And like I said, we've been doing it for 15 years, and we're going to keep this thing moving and grooving.
I love it, man. Listen, All-American on the CW network, also on the CW app the next day.
Yes.
Congratulations. Check it out any which way you can. Season 7. We're looking forward to season 10. Let's keep the ball rolling.
Absolutely. I love that. Absolutely. Indeed. Thank you.